touching nothing that I do. I mean no disrespect.
Run that up, yeah.
Welcome back to the X's and O's podcast. I go by Avi. We're going back to the most negative Raider fan in the entire world, Xavier. And this is our co-host, Tink. She's our mascot here on the X's and O's podcast. We decided to switch things up because we are angry. And I think that we are going to do a better job talking about what just happened instead of what's going to happen, because if not, I'm going to look like that delusional idiot every single time that I talk about the Raiders. I'm very, 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 very angry, X, and I'm going to tell you why I'm angry, and then I'm going to allow you to tell them why you're angry.
All right.
I would pick on one person, but it's not one person. It's everyone. Everyone. Defensive coordinator, who I love. Head coach, who I love. Quarterback, who I don't love. Devontae Adams, who I love. Marcus Epps, tore his ACL, who I love.
Love him.
Trayvon Merrick, who I love, who doesn't want to tackle. I mean, I guess sign him up for the Olympic flag team because he doesn't want to fucking tackle. Jack Jones is getting burnt, and I love Jack Jones. We called him elite.
I thought, yeah, he's elite.
2 days ago. So get your fucking shit together, because when you go and play the Cleveland Browns, who honestly, they're not a great team, but they're not terrible. They have a better roster than the Panthers do. That's for sure. And we had to sit there and watch Andy. Okay. We had to sit there and watch Andy fucking Dalton. Andy Dalton, 740-year veteran, shred us. Not even, I thought, okay, he'll put the complete game together, maybe throw a few touchdown passes. Shred us. And this fucking elite defense that we thought we had, which we do not have, which there are so many fucking holes to fill that honestly I become kind of panicked thinking about how are we going to fill this many holes? Are we going to fill it? We need a linebacker. We need another defensive end. We need another cornerback. We need another safety. Maybe Pal-Mal can step up. We need another safety. We need a quarterback. And I wish the owner would take his fucking bowl cut and shave his head in the mirror and post it on Twitter to show people, hey, I'm fucking losing my mind too. Because then I can feel like I'm not losing my mind alone. I feel like I can lose. I'm on Raider Twitter just fucking hyper scrolling and being like, oh my God, they're in the same position we are. And I'm so sorry for this insane rant to start this podcast, but I'm so angry that I can't even formulate like positive words to say, and I'm the optimist. And you said, oh, it's looking like a trap game. What is a trap game? And it was a trap. Not only was it a trap game, it was like, let's take all the Raider fans, let's give them one good quarter of football, let's beat the MVP, a good team that actually just went out and beat the Cowboys, and let's set a trap. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set the trap, and then we're going to literally snap every single Raider fan's head in the fucking trap. Not just a trap game where you're like, oh, we lost by a touchdown. We lost by 2 touchdowns. You know, hey, any given Sunday, no, we got fucking pissed on. Absolutely pissed on. And then we have to watch our motivator go up on the podium and be like, people did make business decisions. I want to make a business decision. I want to be in control of the team because I would bench fucking Gardner Minshew, and then I would put in Aiden O'Connell, and if he shits the fucking bed, I would sell every last bit of silver and black fucking blood to get a quarterback.
Let me tell you something.
Sorry, brother.
No, you're good. No, you're good. I didn't want your heart to stop. I understand that you're angry, and you have every right to be. But let me tell you a little something about this here league NFL that we love so much. Motivation is only required when there's a lack of discipline in the routine, okay? People that do their jobs, you don't have to be motivated to go to work. Everybody, you just get up and you're disciplined and you go do your job. The Raiders, for whatever reason, over the last 20 years, they lack discipline. So now our head coach, you just labeled him the motivator. You either have a tactician offensively, you have a defensive guru who can lock anything down, or in this league, some of these coaches like Dan Henderson are rah-rah guys. We have
or a little mixture of
a
both
little
sometimes.
bit of mixture of both. We have a motivator.
Because we've had a couple tacticians before.
We've had
that
tacticians.
Didn't work
We
out.
did Y banana, spider Y banana bullshit, and it didn't work. But this time we're with
It was working.
It was working.
Which
And,
is weird,
it was working, and they took him away. But we have a motivator, and discipline is not present within the team. Across the board, from the offensive line to the defensive line, niggas just didn't show up. We have a way better roster than the Panthers.
Way better.
I didn't know, and I
outrageously better.
I can name a lot of random players in this league. I didn't know the coach's name of the Panthers until the game was in about
literally had no
the
idea
second
who he
quarter.
was.
Dave Canales, has no disrespect to you. You guys just weren't on my radar. I never even thought for 1 second.
Still not on my radar.
I had to worry about this game.
The sick
But
thing is they're going to win 3 games this year, and we're going to be like, bro.
in the episode prior, I said we both said we'll find out what type of culture we have after this game. Now it is apparent to me that these niggas are all vibes because we beat the Ravens and it's cigars in the air. We beat the Panthers and it's we're going to make business decisions. You know what business decision you guys need to make? Make the fucking tickets free, nigga.
Here's the truth. I'm not going to decide on the culture after the loss, but I am doubting it.
Look, take a deep look.
It.
Because let me
as
tell
far
you
as
this.
discipline is concerned, we've been the lowest penalized team, which we are, brother. We are the most penalized team in the last 20 years by like 2,000 penalties.
No, absolutely.
So as far as like literal discipline, we're there. But like there is phases to there's phases of discipline. There's penalty discipline, coverage discipline. There's because like I watch
execution gap. Nigga playing the gaps on runs, bro.
I watch certain because it's hard for me because in this podcast, like I don't want to like specifically call people out by name because I love the players. Like I love them all. I love Jack. I love Devontae. I've been one of the biggest Devontae Adams fans his entire career because he's from the Bay. Like
he's a goat.
He's a goat, and I think what happens is I get angry about having true talent. Brock Bowers and Max Crosby, Robert Spillane, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, even Trey Tucker is a nice pure talent. Having this talent and kind of seeing it get wasted in a game, I'm not going to say the whole season is wasted, but I will say that it was a firm reminder of what the last 20 years has been like. I'm not going to change or not be a Raider fan. I talk to my dad after every game. I'm going to mention that on every podcast because my dad is the one who got me into the Raiders. He watched a lot of winning growing up. So he has a different perspective of how sick you can actually really get. And it honestly drives me up the wall in sadness almost because I want to win with my dad. I know that sounds emotional. And I want to win with you too because we've been friends for like 4 years now, and we had one playoff berth, and that was really nice to like have some exciting games that we've seen together. But I just want to win, and sometimes I can almost feel like I'm gonna cry because I actually love the Raiders so much that actually before the playoff game in 2016, even with Cook breaking his or Carr breaking his ankle and Cook as the starting quarterback, I cried in my car on the way to watching that game. I did against the Bengals, and it was almost like such excitement that the emotions became too much. And I want to feel that again because there's these other teams around the league that seem to figure it out somehow. Even the ones that are poverty.
Like shit bombs.
Like Browns. The Browns are just like us, and that's why when we go into this game,
the Bengals just lost. They have a star quarterback, star receiver,
and they're 0-3. Right, they can't
Certain
shake it.
Teams can't shake the shit.
And you know what? The Bengals have always been slightly competitive my entire life.
They've always had a quarterback, always had a receiver, but can't get it done.
So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, the Raiders are the only team that go through this because we're not. We're the greatest franchise in sports. Period. And I'm not basing it just solely off of like rings and stuff like that because I know there's the Patriots and the Packers and the Steelers and the Cowboys and the Niners and now the Chiefs. But we're the greatest franchise in sports for so many other reasons other than just the decades of winning that we had prior to this last 20 years. That's the frustrating part. The frustrating part is you come with the coolest uniforms. You come with the craziest attitude. You come with one of the most insane fan bases in the world. You know, us and maybe a handful of people have the type of fan bases that we do when it comes to this passion.
I would say that dogs and sports are the only things in this world that get unconditional love. So our love for the Raiders isn't tied to the results.
Yeah.
We love them no matter what.
No matter what. Like
But-
I'll be there Sunday ready to roll.
But with love, comes the other side of the coin, which turns into absolute fucking irate frustration.
Yeah.
Because it makes absolutely no sense. You
Bucking,
see other
fucking hay,
see
riding
other-
horses and getting 2 yards of carry.
You see other franchises figure things out. We bring in a new coach, we bring in a new quarterback,
2
we bring in a
yards.
new OC, and it's still the same situation. So after 20 years,
run,
we
third
have
and 8.
had to result
run, 3rd and 8.
to
run,
this therapy.
Run, 3rd and 8.
This guy's
run,
losing
run,
it
3rd and
because
8.
It's run, 3rd and 8. When you have
Fucking ridiculous,
Hall of Fame
dude.
receiver, top in the league 3 tight end. You have
Top 3.
You have
Best
Jacoby
tight end in the
Myers,
league.
emerging Trey Tucker, and yet you come out after halftime, nigga, handoff, throw, punt. Any good offensive coordinator goes in with the plan and adjusts on the fly.
I watched-
You have to abandon the plan
And
if
how
it's
many
not
games
working.
do we watch? You and I watch almost every game played. You know, maybe not in full, but like red zone. We're both active. We're both active fantasy.
Nigga, during the game, we flipped to the Lions game for a split second. While we're doing handoff, I seen these niggas run a fucking hook and ladder, brother. Some people are thinking
was tight.
outside the proverbial
That was
box.
sick.
And instead we are doing handoff when our best receivers are pass catchers. But then you can't be surprised because life is based off expectations. We hired a nigga who was terrible with worse talent and elevated his position. So let me paint the picture for you guys.
Who are you talking about?
Luke Getsy.
Oh, right. I thought you
Had
were talking about AP.
worse talent.
AP's the guy, bro.
Getsy had worse talent on the Bears, did absolutely nothing. And
They
we
gave him real talent,
they gave him real talent.
doing
with,
absolutely nothing. How many games?
we
So we have 12 quarters.
we played 12 quarters
One
and
good quarter of
one
football.
positive quarter of offensive football.
Oh my God, I can't take it anymore.
I don't understand
And then
how
I just read a report saying we're not switching quarterbacks.
we're not switching quarterbacks.
And you know what? It may not even always just be on Minshew, but Minshew,
Just
he's
looking-
missing a lot of wide open players, and I know that
Everything is hindsight 2020,
about
but
to say,
when
it's
you
like-
walk into the season, even just going into the offseason last year, when you looked at the landscape of the quarterbacks, how could they possibly say no? Justin Fields, Russell Wilson,
Baker Mayfield.
We don't want
because
you.
like Baker was probably gonna stay, but we had a shot at Justin.
Kick the tree. Jaden Daniels
Sam
just
Darnold's
balled.
available
Jaden
next
Daniels.
year. Are they gonna go with the rookie if he keeps winning, or is like Sam Darnold available? Because I'm down to roll him. I'm down to roll.
Jaden Daniels just balled.
Me and my pops want to roll Aiden. I just want to roll Aiden. Just
I would roll
to
Aiden
see.
at this point. We have
Yeah,
to
just
see.
to see.
With Minshew, you know what you're
We
going to
know,
get.
we
Highs
know,
and lows.
we
And
know,
I love the
we know.
highs, but the lows
Highs are great, but
are
the lows
losing
are
to
too
the
low.
Panthers,
Yeah,
bro.
the
The lows are too lows. That low washes out the Ravens' win. It's lower than the high was. That is probably the worst loss we'll experience all season. That's the home opener. They came out flat and got dotted up.
X,
nigga.
I've watched the Raiders lose to the Rams 52-0. I watched Derek Carr not even cross the 50-yard line.
That was a tough one. I remember
the
that.
reason why this is the worst loss I've ever seen in Raiders. That's what this one's titled, brother. Worst loss in Raiders history. The reason why is because you honestly know that there is a shift in culture. We do. We all know it. We see it because of the way the players
Move
act,
around, the way they act. There's an
they
aura.
act
The aura is
towards their
back.
coach. Because a part of culture, obviously winning is the most important thing in a culture. But the true shift of culture is the way the locker room is. I don't know how many sports you've played, but the locker room is everything. You got everybody and vibing out in the locker room. You know, because Billion played sports too. I'm sure you've played in some
of course.
locker rooms,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you know
I played
what
varsity.
camaraderie actually looks like, and we're starting to build that. I'm frustrated, and I want us to do something real quick. We're gonna take one deep breath together, okay? 3, 2.
Can I say something?
Yeah, now just let's do it calmly now.
One more time. In life, there's certain things that you just don't budget with. You don't budget with your health care. You don't budget with your lawyer if you're in legal trouble. And you don't budget with your quarterback for whatever
You
reason.
don't budget with your quarterback.
For whatever
Because
reason.
it's not 1976
It's not
anymore.
1976, brother.
And I said it on the last podcast.
Brad
Who'da
Johnson, those days of the fucking Brad Johnson Super Bowls and the Trent Dilfer one when he was also tethered to top 5 defenses all
didn't
time,
give
brother.
up over
Ed
15
Reed
points.
Ed Reed is better than everybody playing defense in the league right now. They had guys like that next to Ray Lewis, next to Chris McAllister, Terrell Suggs on those defenses. Brian Billick didn't have to do much. I don't want to discredit anything he ever accomplished, but I'm saying that's one of the top 5 defenses of all time.
Marvin Lewis
was a mind on that team, so that's why they won the Super Bowl, not because Trent Dilfer was handing it off to Jamal Lewis, my nigga. So I say that to say we've been budgeting at the most important position in football for way too long. Rich Gannon is a once in a lifetime hit late in your career type of guy. We've been trying to do that for far too long, and it's time to go get the fucking guy.
That's why I was so in love with Carr, because we drafted him and he played for us for so long. I was willing to just be like, this is my franchise quarterback, because I went to training camp. I have proof. I went to training camp in Napa in 2015 or the 2016 season, the season where he had some MVP votes, and I took a picture of them warming up, and I said, future MVP. That year,
and he has MVP votes, so you weren't far off. After 2016,
and honestly,
we
other than Sunday, Derek is performing very well this season.
I've had to watch more college football this season than I ever have in my life, because I now have to scout for the guy, because you were big on Jaden Daniels, and he's 3-0. You were skeptical on Caleb Williams, and not to say that he can't pan out, but he's struggling out the gate.
I was very skeptical.
He's just struggling a little bit out the gate because he's like a half and half. He runs, he throws.
Yeah, but I was sure Jaden Daniels was the guy.
No, facts. So I mean, you have a good eye for what it takes in a quarterback.
Yeah.
You see Minshew. Now I think that we both can say that he can potentially turn it around, but he might not be the guy you hitch your bandwagon.
I can say this. Even if he took us to the playoffs, he's not the guy.
The guy that's going to get you over the hump.
So hope and faith are different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So
absolutely.
I have hope that he could be the guy. But that's where my delusion is. My faith is in finding a quarterback of the future, getting a kid who's 22 years old, and building. Because I'm willing to have the lows with a rookie. I'm willing to go through that. But because look at what it is. There's 4 or 5 rookie quarterbacks starting now. One got hurt, but you got Bo Nix, Daniels.
He just got his first win.
Caleb. Is there any other rookie quarterbacks
that are playing? Drake May's playing, but he's not starting.
So we got three rookie quarterbacks who are starting, and one of them is performing
at a high level.
At a high level. So it's not easy to find one.
It's not easy to find a quarterback coach.
It is easy to take your first round pick that you've whiffed on, other than Brock Bowers, that you've whiffed on. The only reason why Josh Jacobs panned out is because we had 3 number 1 picks, but we've whiffed on number 1 picks for quite some time.
My entire
life. Let's risk on a quarterback every fucking year it takes, and then see what goes on. Because
I'm looking at Quinn Ewers, I'm looking at Shador, I'm looking at Cam Ward, I'm looking at Carson Beck. I don't give a fuck who it is, nigga. Anybody that could play the position at a high level and change his franchise, come on down. You're the next contestant on Save This Franchise.
A lot of people will say that, you got to win for players to want to come play for you. That's not always true.
You can set a culture.
It's like where your money can last. Certain players will bring you in. We have a great new stadium, a great new facility. We have great uniforms. We have who I think is going to be a great coach, and we have the superstar Max Crosby, who has a high ankle sprain. If you could see that he wasn't putting a lot of weight on his leg, so we're probably going to have to sit him. But and it's tough because Devine was out, and then you have Epps, who just tore his ACL, and then you have Kuntz, who's out for the season. It's also like Raiders don't have rosters that are super deep right now, so those players getting hurt, it really does.
We get to see something from the safeties that we drafted. We like Chris Smith. We like the Palomalo.
Palomalo.
You know what I'm saying?
Pow wow. No, I'm thinking he can be good. And because he's 6'4", and he
looks like an athlete.
Good at USC.
Trey Tucker's emerging. There's signs on the team.
Yeah.
And people that give us reasons to be excited. We're not trying to get on here and be negative and loss, and then when they win, praise them.
We're no longer going to predict what's going to happen.
We can't predict
anything.
We
definitely want the Browns to be beat.
We want to beat the Browns.
A new home opener.
But now knowing how low it can be and how high it can be, we don't know what to expect. We just know.
Just give me some solid
that
play.
We want to see the best players on the team touch the ball more often than not.
Yeah.
Dynamic offense, defense. We're going to give you a mulligan.
Dynamic offense. I just want to see an offense.
Yeah,
Dynamic doesn't even have to be all crazy, but like,
yeah, I'm not asking for
and I'm not
flickers.
saying that Getsy is like a grade F, but he's a D minus. So because there are plays where I'm like, as a longtime quarterback myself, and as a longtime fan, I'm like seeing people that Gardner's missing. I'm just like, oh my God, why didn't you hit him, or why didn't you take off and run? It's like there is moments where like you could probably be making Getsy look a lot better. With that being said, we have a new segment that me and the other co-host over there, Billy and Coast, that we came up with actually that we want to throw at you, and I haven't talked to you about it, but that's why it's dope. We're gonna pull it up at you live. We're gonna do something called the 5-minute NFL Blitz, where we're gonna talk about other things around the league and things that are with the culture of the NFL, because it is important. It's honestly really important to the Raiders to look around the league and know what we got coming and know who we're playing and know how certain players are performing. It's important for the Raider fans to like have an idea, because I know like people that are watching this and people that watch Raiders media, they watch not just the Raiders, okay? So, but I think giving our perspective will help, maybe look into who we got on our schedule and things like that. So, Bill, if you could do me a favor and actually just pull up the games that were played this week. So just say like NFL Week 3 schedule, and then me and you can kind of just talk about things that we've seen.
Out the gate, I got one. I got one for you right away.
That's awesome. So let's start with this game that we just watched, the Bengals and Commanders game. Bengals 0-3.
The Bengals are 0-3. Not only are they 0-3, the Washington Commanders have a dog
and are 2-1
at quarterback.
Yeah, Daniels
and
looking great.
And the Redskins are an interesting situation. I don't want to always tie things back to the Raiders, but in the offseason, we talked to Cliff Kingsbury, Dan Quinn, and we were looking at Jaden Daniels, and to see these guys from across the field
say we were going to hire him and be like, you know what, never mind.
Look over the fence and see what they're doing. It's kind of interesting. We had another Monday night game though. The Bills and the Jaguars. And I let me lead with this. I'm not saying that he's a bad quarterback at all, but sometimes the coach and the quarterback fit doesn't match up. The days of Trevor Lawrence and Jaguars are coming.
They may be drafting a quarterback. That's what's scary.
Because of the Sam Darnold thing, I'm never going to write anybody off again, but I think that he needs a new change of scenery.
They won't draft a quarterback next year.
Probably give him another year.
He's got this and maybe next year.
Lost his last 8 in a row.
One game that I thought was interesting was the Eagles-Saints game. Very winnable for Derek Carr and the Saints. We know Derek very well.
We know.
So I seen
the good and the bad.
I seen some Derek.
Love Derek.
We love Derek first and foremost. But we seen some old Derek Carr patterns happen. Hurts looked very rough. I have him in fantasy, so I know for a fact he lost me my fantasy matchup.
You want to know what game made me look a little tougher at our situation? I am watching the Green Bay Packers in my entire lifetime. I've seen them go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. Now they have Jordan Love. Brother, they got rid of Jordan Love, got hurt. Malik Willis, the guy who they said was dead and in the dust, is fucking 2-0 with their backups, nigga. In the offense,
playing well.
They've shifted it to a power run heavy scheme to highlight him. Coaching matters. I'm not going to lament or say anything else. But I've been watching that, and it makes me frustrated.
Setting up the pass is obviously the dream in the NFL, but it's not going to look like the Raiders so far. We do not have that. We're 32nd in running, and I feel like we're 35th in running. I think that I feel like I should put some of the XFL teams.
Put Alabama in there, put Georgia in there.
Yeah, very rough. One other one I really wanted to talk about actually with you is because another thing that I was telling you earlier on in the season was the Jets and Patriots game, and that Aaron Rodgers is still a great top 5 quarterback.
I started Derek Carr. You were absolutely right.
Yeah, you were off Rodgers. I told you to start Rodgers the week prior as well over
Deshaun Watson. Shout out to Deshaun.
So shout out to Deshaun. I can't wait to play against him. I don't know why. But the Jets, looking that they're going to be, it looks like they're going to be a good team. It looks like Rodgers got his swagger back. And
the way he was moving, I was good. It was
honestly,
good to see that,
I can't stand any AFC team, but that was really nice to see Rodgers performing well.
When I look at the Steelers game, it makes me wonder how good the Chargers really were. So that was a tricky one for me as well, because I see another quarterback on that team having success. that was available in the offseason. Just looking at the landscape
team
of things.
success.
Team success because he hasn't thrown as many touchdowns as maybe you like to see from your star quarterback.
Two touchdowns.
But he's moving the offense.
2 rushing, too.
And they are doing things that I've been
And not
clamoring
making
to
many
do.
mistakes either,
Yeah, not making mistakes, and they are winning football games, so it's good to see the Steelers, Justin Fields, who they said was left for dead, with that coordinator that we have, and he's having success.
Can
so
I
it's good
ask
to
you
see.
a question?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's Raiders till we die,
Of
and there's
course.
no one else that we root for like the Raiders.
Of
But if you
course.
had to pick a team from the NFC that you don't mind seeing successful, other than playing when we play them, is there a team in the NFC? Because we don't do AFC teams.
Two come to mind immediately. First, I would say the Saints because of Derek Carr.
Yeah,
I would like to see him
yeah.
have success.
Yeah, me too.
And the second one is purely because I like the way he plays the game. It's Kyler Murray. He's it has to be so tough to be 5'9" and play quarterback. I'm being serious. No joke.
It's horribly tough. Are you fucking
that's
kidding
what
me?
I'm saying. Like,
your
bro,
linemen are like
Peyton Manning,
twice the size.
Peyton Manning, Cam Newton, and these guys are built like action figures, and Kyler Murray uses his athleticism
to really
to
make
his
shit
advantage
happen.
and goes crazy. He throws
was
a
a tough
nice
loss
ball.
for
He's
him.
dynamic. He elevates that franchise a little higher than they deserve to be because of the player that he is. So I would say the Cardinals, Kyler Murray, and the Saints with Derek Carr.
Do you want to know who I don't mind seeing?
What about you?
The Lions. Not only because Jared Goff played quarterback up in my neck of the woods, but I respect the Detroit fan base. They're a lot like us. They've had pretty much no success in the history of their team. They've been a team since the 50s, and we've been a team since 1970.
Mm-hmm.
When did the Raiders become a team? The 70s.
I'm gonna say the 70s, maybe late 60s.
I mean, how do I not know this? That's absolutely ridiculous. We're gonna ask Google live on the air.
I've been here since '98. I've been here since '89.
Were the Oakland Raiders established?
I pulled up with Tim Brown and the no gloves and the tape.
1960. Okay, I was right.
Okay,
thank God. I went to 70s because I'm like, how could the 70s when Al Davis? Okay, but anyways. They've been a team for a long time, and they haven't had any success. So seeing them win is I feel kind of like this. Secondhand, like I'm hoping that happens for us, kind of feeling, because they got a players coach, and their fans are a lot like us, like loyal as can be. Show up every year, even in the year that they went 0-16. Which I think is the only team to ever do it.
No, they're a fan base that deserves a winning team.
Yeah,
because they've been wallowing in the shit.
As
do
we.
The
last team game that I wanted to talk about for the NFL Blitz, and then we can go back to close out. On the Raiders.
Let me do a little inner hate watch section because the game that I watched, of course, every week I always watch the Chiefs. I did a hate watch on them, and let me just say. This is the worst they've been while they've been good. I don't know how these fuckers eke out wins. This Carson Steele power run shit.
And I picked up.
I took the Falcons to cover the spread 5.5, and they had a chance to win that game. I don't know who the OC is for the Falcons, but these niggas ran wing T from the 6. 4th and inches, wing T. With the offensive players that you have is crazy. The Chiefs should have lost that game.
I know the year that I picked Pat Mahomes in a fantasy league, which is already blasphemy.
Treason already.
I know that's why he's doing shitty because I should
just
never.
To spite
I should
you.
Never.
No.
Pick him.
I will go out on a limb and say they will not three-peat. I will take the field this time.
Oh, that one's over.
Yeah, they're eking out wins, but
Travis looks like he's listened to too much Taylor Swift over the last few months.
He's
like
doing
that.
all
he looks
that.
chalked.
Brock Bowers is taking over that situation. That's all. Oh, you had one more team. That's all I had for the hate watch.
One more team. This. I just wanted to say it's pretty cool because when my dad was young, the reason why he picked the Raiders is because he only had like 3 channels on TV, and they would play 2 different teams on football for football, and that was the Raiders and the Notre Dame. He also liked the Vikings growing up. Not like a fan of them or anything, but
just respected them.
Yeah, just respected them.
Facts.
It was one of the first games that he seen was the Raiders versus the Vikings. So the Vikings starting out 3-0 with Sam Darnold, a second hope, watching Justin Jefferson still play at an extremely high level with him. I would have to give a slight round of applause to the Vikings because they beat actually they didn't beat.
Destroyed.
They smacked
an
excellent Super Bowl contending team
And a young quarterback on the rise.
Funny how Stroud was like tapping on Caleb's chest, like, "Hey, it's gonna be all right," and then he got smacked up by Sam Darnold.
Humble pie is always right around the corner.
That's another
brother.
quarterback that I wanted.
I
and
fuck with Stroud.
I was sure on Stroud as well.
Just another thing on your point on Sam Darnold. I always love a resurgence story.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
They wrote him off. You know what I'm saying? And he spun
They
the block.
They wrote that man
off. He's been backing up.
Got me wanting to call up Zach Wilson and be like,
and say what's
did we
up.
make
No,
a
that's what I'm
mistake?
saying. You never know. With the right coach, with the right OC, anything can happen. Shout out to Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
You guys deserve it. You guys have a tough game with the Packers this week. We'll see if you can keep it up.
Yeah. So the closing part of this podcast,
Therapy session.
Again, this therapy session, Raiders therapy, is that I don't want to jump ship. I never will.
Never.
I don't want to set it on fire yet.
Never.
That's a mid-season thing, but I don't want that. I want this to work because us pulling the plug and restarting year after year after year after year after year after year it's really tough. And we could bring up the numbers and see we've had well over 15 starting quarterbacks in the last 20 years.
Packers have had
We've
3 and
had
30.
over 10 coaches in the last 20 years, probably even more. We fired people after one season.
Shout out to our show.
We had John Gruden's second stint in that whole debacle. We had Josh McFucking Buckles and that whole debacle.
The chin.
And now we finally got somebody that I have faith in, real faith. I have real faith in Coach AP, and I think Coach AP will get it done this season, get us back to the playoffs. I do believe that we're going to need a quarterback no matter how good we are, no matter how bad we are going to need a quarterback. So, Tom Telesco, gear the fuck up, brother, and start doing your research now because the Raiders are in need of a quarterback. We are in need of a quarterback. Third time, we are in need of a quarterback.
And not even a quarterback. The
quarterback.
Because we've seen quarterbacks. I've seen fucking Terrell Pryor, and I've seen motherfucking Andrew Walter.
Think about this. Think about this. Patriots drafted a quarterback who can probably be the guy.
Yeah.
Eagles have their quarterback. Saints have their quarterback. Broncos got to win the season. I'm not too high on him. Bears got their quarterback. Colts got their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks have their quarterback.
Shout out to Gino.
Texans have their quarterback. Vikings have their quarterback.
Chargers
Packers
have their
quarterback. Chargers have their quarterback. Steelers have their quarterback.
Browns are going to try and figure
I mean, I can go through every team. Bengals have their quarterback.
Do they?
Redskins have their quarterback.
Redskins do.
We're due for one.
Yeah, no.
The only ones that are going to be fighting, and honestly, I don't even think the Titans will abandon Levis after this.
You got to give them time.
So there's a lot. There's only us, the Browns, and maybe the Dolphins, who are going to need a quarterback. That's probably it. Honestly, if I'm looking at all these teams, that's probably it. And maybe the Jets, but the Jets are going to be good, so they're not going to be able to draft a quarterback
They won't be
high.
drafting a quarterback.
And if the ship is sinking, which I hope it's not, actually I have faith it's not, we ship over Devontae to the Jets to his friend. We get a first-round pick, hopefully, because I feel like he still plays at first-round pick level. And we have 2. We take those 2, and no matter what our season looks like,
go get your guy.
You go get your guy.
Even if we have to sit him or whatever, go get him. Let him sit. Let him grow. Last thing I'm gonna say, we never want any Raider to be wallowing in the shit with us. If Devontae wants to trade,
give him the trade.
Give him the trade.
He's not wallowing. He's not wallowing.
No,
his presser. He was like, we got to be positive.
I'm not saying that he is.
He's locked in.
But I'm just saying, if the season takes a turn for the worse, we care about him so much as Raiders that we would want that nigga to have a good chance to go be successful elsewhere. Just give us what he's worth. Give us the draft pick so we can find our quarterback.
As if he didn't have one of the greatest quarterbacks in history and not have any success.
No, absolutely.
It's not like it's super easy.
It's not you find a quarterback and you win games. It takes a lot of things,
and
then sometimes you run up against Nick Foles and you could still lose.
Think about it like this.
Things happen.
Think about it like this. You can have a great engine. You can have a 454 in your car. Still need oil. Still need a starter. Still need a steering wheel. Doors. Seats.
Direction.
You might not need the seats,
you
but
need
directions. So you can have the quarterback, but you need the coach. You need the coordinator. X always gets on me about the owner. I don't think the owner is. You need the money, but I don't think that the owner is as big. Like, he makes decisions, but that's not like. I feel like it starts at the top, but like, I kind of don't put all the pressure on the owner.
Mark Davis ain't running slants.
No, because he's trying. He's trying. I have to say he's trying.
hiring
He tried
coaches,
to go
he
get
paying
Gruden.
niggas, he tried to
he's
pay
trying.
Carr,
He gave good.
he
We're
tried-
going to be
he's
paying
trying.
Josh McDaniels tons of money for years.
He's trying.
He's trying. And so I can't come at Mark. Just seeing him in and out
He just needs
yesterday,
to
just
try-
ordering a double-double.
He
That
needs
was
to try harder.
harder by
Try harder.
And you know what?
Do better.
Yeah, but he listened to the fans
He
because
gave,
we
he
wanted
gave,
AP.
no, he gave him the coach.
So
no, he
he's
did.
trying.
He's
so,
trying.
So
You're trying, Mark.
Raider fans, we love you. I go by Avi. This is the most negative Raider fan in the world. This is Tink, our mascot. We got Billion over there sneezing up a storm. It's actually his birthday.
Woo!
Happy birthday, Billion. Thanks
Young
for
Billy.
coming on your stream on the birthday. But we will be back after next week's game against the Browns, and we will talk about that game.
We'll be 2-2.
Again, if you guys have anything that you want to talk about, please leave comments. Let us know. We're gonna try to keep up with the content, give you guys a lot of stuff to watch, just so we're not leaving you hanging at all. But we will be back next week. Faith that we will be 2-2, because after the Panthers thing, it feels like an absolute bomb. But we love you guys, and we will see you next week.
Everywhere we go, I'm that nigga, me no disrespect.